If you're a heat and air heating technician or even a salesperson, why should you plan on cancellations and why does it matter? This is a super important question. I'm Scott Bell, coming to you live for HVAC technician sales secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter your product, your service, your widget, your gizmo, your industry. There is going to be a point where your buyer hits oscillation. And oscillation in the sales process is I want to do it, I don't want to do it. I want to do it, I don't want to do it. I thought I had a good deal, I don't have a good deal. I thought I had a good deal, I don't have a good deal. And so here's what's going to happen is there's going to be a point where you meet the person at their office, you meet the person at their house, you meet the person at a coffee shop, and you get the paperwork signed. You could even get like something online, a DocuSign. And you're sitting in the office, you're on your call, and you look down, you get the email or the text message that says, hey, I want to unwind this deal. So what do? Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you got to be prepared for this. So 1, you should have an email prepared. 2, you should have a text message prepared that you can cut and paste. And 3, you should be able to know what you're going to say on the phone. So there's times where people say, hey, Scott, we want to hire you for consulting. And I'm like, great, let's do it. No problem. Let's do some consulting. And, we go through the process. We get the documentation signed. They talk about what the onboarding process looks like, talks about the next steps. And then I get the phone call. Well, talk to my business partner. Well, we talk to our team. Well, we talk to the board. And at this point, we don't want to do it. So this is why you really need to have some good notes and go back to some commitments. Hey, so, we sat and talked and we had a really good conversation. And these are all the things that you told me. Are those things not true anymore? Right? So it comes down to a shade of true or not true. It's like yes or no, check the box. But truth is really one of those things that it's really tough for people to lie about. Doesn't mean they won't, but truth is one of the conversations that go about that. Like, hey, I have it in the notes here that you really wanted me to come out and work with your team because you wanted a higher closing rate. Is that true or not true anymore? Well, it's true. And then here's what normally happens is it's usually about money or terms. Sometimes it's about trust, but most of the time it's about money and terms. And it's just a lot of money. And so you have to be prepared for this conversation. It is I completely understand. You're absolutely right. It is a lot of money. But here's what happens when you don't do that. And then you list out the repercussions. Your team doesn't close. Your product doesn't work. You have failure when you don't need it. You may not get everything that you wanted or needed. And so one of the things that salespeople are really good at is role-playing closing the deal. What salespeople hardly ever do is role-play losing a deal. So I'm going to challenge you right now to put together a text message, put together an email, put together what you're going to say on the phone call, and sit down with a couple of other salespeople and practice it. And this right here is why you should join my email list. I'll give you the goods, not the Facebook group, not the YouTube channel. So right here above my head, if you go to that URL, type it into a browser, just drop in your name, your email address, your phone number. It's as simple as that. You'll be happy. I'll love you. You'll love you. We'll have some fun. It'll be good. So you have to be prepared right now for this cancellation because instead of being in crazy mode when you get it, you're like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I've got my text message already written and I'm just going to fill in the blanks. It's a swipe file. I got my email already done. I already know what I need to fill in there. And I've already know what I'm going to say on my phone call. So sometimes I'm going to give you my game plan. If I was getting a phone call and somebody says, hey, Scott, I want to cancel. This is the way I roll down. I go, okay, so what changed from the time that I talked to you and the time that we made the agreement? Because I need to know if it's input from them or input from another person. Well, I talked to another person. Okay, great. At the end of the day, does their solution fix all their concerns? You know what their answer is going to be? Yes. No matter what you ask, they're going to say yes to it because they've made a decision. So then next up is, look, we've put in a lot of work. Is there any way that we can salvage this? And there's a million different ways to ask this. Is there any way we can salvage this? And you could ask it, what way could we salvage this? If you're trying to get an answer, you could wordsmith the living crap out of this, however you decide to do it. Is there any way of salvaging it? And then if they say yes, what would that look like? And they may tell you, hey, we want to unwind it for a deal for these reasons. Now, I was talking to one of the guys that I know that is one of my mentors, and he's a fractional billionaire. Legitimately, dude's got some money. And he was telling me recently about a deal that he lost out $600 million on. $600 million. And so we went to dinner and I was like, tell me about that. And he's like, hey, Scott, it doesn't matter what level of business you're at. If you're down here all the way up here, you lose deals. They fall out. You do what you can to try to save them. And eventually somebody always steps in. It's usually about money and terms. My challenge for you right now is figure out what your game plan is. And if you're with a team, figure out how they can help you. If you have a manager, talk it through with them. But sit down today and take some time. Like, what am I going to do when somebody cancels for me, and how can I save this job? You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you could share this video with a friend. They're going to love you. I'll love you. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.